We had a major Heritage Lottery fund 7 years ago, 8 years ago, and on the back of that we are allowed to make 2 more funding applications. Middleton has a reputation with the Heritage Lottery funding that our word is our bond, and we had to make sure that this time we would get everything just as perfect as we did the first time.
When I first came to Middleton in 2005 to become a volunteer, Brookes was still running as an operational locomotive, actually as in its Thomas guise. By the time I became quite involved in 2007, we reconverted it back to its saddle tank, to its original Hunslet form that it was shipped out in the early 1940s. When I eventually moved up through the ranks from a cleaner to a fireman, and I was ready to take my assessment for driving the locomotive, it was actually Brookes which I had my driving test on. So I've got quite an affection for the locomotive, even though by the time it came out of traffic in 2009 it was very worn, there was lots of clanking and banging, but that's really what the project's about, is restoring it to its former glory. But the other main thing the project's about is about getting young people involved, people maybe like me, other new volunteers who are even younger, getting them involved in the engineering skills and the work that's required to bring the locomotive back to scratch. As far as the restoration goes and the skills gained, already we've been involved in quite a lot of the boiler work, removing the boiler tubes, stripping other components off the boiler, preparing it for storage, because it's going to be sat here now for 2 or 3 years, something like that.
I'm going to knock 4 through now.
Right, I'll just chop this off.
So that's the tube. The tubes have come through and they're just sort of 3 or 4 mil thick, and then we bead them over like that to seal them, stop them leaking. And all we're doing basically is grinding the bead off, which I've done these 4 down here. So once that's ground off, it's then we can knock it through with the dolly. Put that in like that, hit it, and it'll knock through. And there's one hole at the very bottom on the other side that's slightly bigger than one of the tubes, so we can just pull them all out of there.
As far as skills go on the other parts of the project, we're still waiting to get really stuck into those, but there'll be machining jobs to do, there'll be measuring, there'll be lifting to move the locomotive off its wheels, and there'll be a lot of assessment of exactly what is required for the overhaul as a whole.
This project is aimed at young people, mainly people under 25, and it's hoped that most of the work will be done by these young people, and that they will gain skills that will probably stay with them for the rest of their lives. And these skills are very necessary to maintain the old heritage fleet of locomotives.
Young people's skills that they're developing will be supplemented with formal training from senior members at the railway to make sure that these skills really are passed on to the next generation, and that whenever we have another Leeds built locomotive like Brookes, that we can actually manage to overhaul it pretty much ourselves without the input of the older members who will not always be here to support us. And so we can ensure that for the next 70 or 80 years of Brookes or other Leeds locomotives' lives, that they can actually continue to be run on the Middleton Railway and tell the story of the Leeds loco building industry.